Hello everyone, xHedra here bringing you episode 0 of Oxygen Not Included, Spaced Out Edition, a game by Klei. So, I've always wanted to try a different game, but I'm not abandoning Minecraft, it's just I'm going to be traversing all of Canada for the next 5 weeks, so I've had to prepare content in advance, and so I decided that every week you would get an episode or two of Oxygen Not Included Spaced Out, as well as a couple of episodes of Minecraft, and I'll go back to mainly Minecraft when I'm back from vacation. It was just easier for me to record a different game. I'm also curious to see how you guys are going to like this. So, this is episode 0, and it's just a setup and the explanation. I play this game somewhat differently than others in the sense that there are things that make no sense to me, and it's a modded game, so I use mod to cover that. And although my goal is to get every single achievement in the game in this run, because I'm an achiever, completer, completionist, whatever you want to call it, OCD, crazy. So there are things that I just put in the game to make it better to record and more fun to play. So let's go look at our mods. First off, we have the better info card, because the problem with this game is when you have too much material on the ground, you can't see everything and you need to cycle. So with better info card, it's ranged better. I'll show you in there. Then a bigger camera zoom out, because when you're recording, I want to be able to zoom out and show you projects that I'm working on and show you an overlay of the base. Then something called Buildable Natural Tile that lets you build natural sand or metal or any of a natural tile. Why is that? This is probably the most cheaty kind of mod that I have. Well, the second most. And the reason I like it is that I don't want to, like, petrolize myself about planning. And, oh no, I need to keep a tile of dirt here and not there and stuff like that. And I figure in real life, you can make, like, dirt mounds somewhere and you can make, like, metal. Like, there's... all of these things should be things that you can rebuild. So instead of paralyzing myself in planning, I just put that mod in to be able to put back natural tile where I want them. Then there's this build over plant, which the problem is when you're building and you're placing ladder, well, sometimes there's a plant, and because there's a plant, you can't put the next ladder. So you have to wait for the plant to be dug up and then put the ladder. This lets you just put a ladder over the plant, the little... I don't know how to call these little things. One of the little thingy person is just going to build over it and remove the plant first. Clean floor. So when you build floors, sometimes they get a weird pike in them. And I ended up rebuilding and unbuilding to not get that spike. So clean floor, make sure that it's always a straight floor. Group favorite resource is a way to organize a resource on the right. I'll show you later. Then this is the cheatiest. We'll go to that one later. Then there's true tiles. This is just something that makes the tiles better looking. Like usually if you build a tile out of granite, igneous rock, or obsidian or whatever, they're always looking the same. With true tiles, they all have a different look. So it just looks prettier. Show building range. That's just really amazing. When you click on a building, it shows you how far it tries to extract around. Like, this is a must. Like, else, I was always on the forum trying to remember, how much is the range for this? It's 3. Oh, no, the range for this, I'll show you during the game. Then, the speed control. So, the speed control is something that the third level of speed is super ultra high speed, which toward endgame is going to be required, or else I would be recording for thousands of hours. Then, suppress notification. Those little notifications on the left or on the right, they're getting annoying. So this is a mod that lets you say stop showing notification. And sweep by type. This is super important, and I'll explain how it's used, but it's to sweep the floor for only one element instead of searching for them. So let's go back to refresh immigration screen. This is, like I said, the cheatiest one, and I'm going to explain to you why as I start this game. So let's close this off. Start a new game, survival. And there's classic, there's the lab, which is one same map for everyone. I'm going to go in spaced out because that's the mode I like playing the most. And I've spent, I don't know how much time just clicking this until I got an asteroid that I wanted. It's like, this game is hard enough already. I'm not one of these people that want to make it as hard as possible. What I want to do is just have fun and go through all of these achievements and just show you my, like, what I've gathered information-wise around me. So I'm going to use this seed right here that I've put in the description of the video. And it's just that it's metal rich. It's got all the story trait. The regolith asteroid is metal poor, but it's really just a beginning asteroid that you want to have a lot of metal, because I don't like having to just starve on metal and have to go somewhere else and whatnot. So I don't want that level of complexity. And as for all of the other asteroids, well, I'm going to play on the standard asteroid that anyone would start, because I like to have fun this way, and I want to show like the base game, and well, the base game, I mean the base spaced out experience. And if you guys decide to play this and try it with me, you'll probably want to start on an easier asteroid. So let's go ahead and start the game, which is actually not starting the game, because there's the first dupe. Oh, Dupes. Dupes is the name. Wow, can't believe I forgot that. The first setup. And I'm going to explain that's why the immigration screen. So this is kind of like the immigration screen with one position less, okay? The immigration screen is usually 4 and you get to choose something. I'll show that to you in game on cycle 4. But for now, this is your starting dupes, okay? And there is a mechanism to re-roll your dupes. So, like I said, I don't want to make this super complicated as a game through, and I just want to get all of the achievement. One of the achievement that's super important is regarding food. So to begin, I'm going to want a really good digger. I'm going to want a really good researcher, and I'm going to want a really good operator. And my definition of good is different for each. Then you get to reroll. So see, this one is 10 science. It means that they will do science research 400% faster. They will level skills 100% faster. And there's the geotuning speed, which is going to be good for certain volcanoes that I'll have to explain later. But when the research, like when this is high, oftentimes these are bad. So here I have increased science, which is improving on the 10, but it's on digging. At the beginning of the game, having a dupe that cannot dig or cannot build, it's murder. Like, I never use those dupe. It's not fun enough for me. So let's just go a little bit. So this one, see, 10 science, moral bonus while in space. This is not a really important bonus. And here, decreased strength. Well, that's bad because they can't carry quite as much, but it's one that I have accepted in the past. Now it's +8. And the negative is decreased decor. So like that's not that good, like that bad of a default. So it's basically this. Right now, let me explain 2 or 3 more, and then we'll just go and I'll just continue cycle until I find the ones that I want. So flatulent, that's a no-go. I never, ever, ever take a flatulent dupe. The reason for that is that they fart. And they fart natural gas. And it makes your game a nightmare, because in your rocket, in your base, everywhere, you have a little bit of natural gas competing with the other gases. It makes the game so unfun. Like, I didn't know about that in the beginning, and I had taken a couple of dupes like that I ended up killing my performance, because my base had some carbon dioxide, some oxygen, and some natural gas all competing to go all over. And it's like, nah. Decreased germ resistance, that's not really important. Small bladder, just they pee faster. Well, no, they go to the toilet more often. Bottomless stomach is bad and good. When you're doing the achievements that we're doing for food, it's good, but it makes it harder on food. But I'm definitely going to want a couple of bottomless stomach. Like pacifist cannot attack critters. That really, like, this is not a negative. This is something that I've taken many times because you don't care at all. Then there's the allergic reaction to floral scent. I try never to take that one, because I like using plants for decor and beauty and farming and stuff like that, and it's just annoying. And right here we have medication. In this game there is medication for allergies, but it doesn't last long, and it's just, you have to constantly be building it. So I'm like, I don't want to bother with that. It's not adding any fun. Loud sleeper just means that they can't sleep next to another dupe. That's not a problem. Plant murderer, decreased agriculture. And by the way, I've not really talked about the bonus, but the bonus here, see, this one gives an increased construction. So even though Stinky doesn't have any construction, with that, they get a +3 to construction, which makes construction 75% faster. Sometimes they come with a skill from the start, but let's not go there for now. Let's just continue. Just make sure noodle arm, they can carry less. I don't like that one. There's another one called anemic, where they go really slow, like they walk really slow. And like this, building impaired or digging impaired are things that I never take. You know what? I think that for now, this is good enough, and I can just go and select. I think I've shown everything, and while I'm just like going through each of the option, if there's one option, some options that I remember, I'm just going to show them to explain them after. So let's just fast forward through this process. This often takes a long time. And we're back. Okay, so let me explain to you quickly what I've selected. I've selected a digger with 9 digging, which means he's going to be digging at 225%, which is super important in the beginning. And he builds at 75% faster. Well, that's really good. And he's got decreased agriculture. He's not going to be doing plants, taking care of plants at all, ever. Now, my scientists, and I named them like on weird cutie names based on their task. So this is going to be Digga. This one's going to be Brainiac, and Brainiac is a loner, so they get bonus when they're alone, which is like, okay, that's not really useful, but it doesn't bother either. And it's got bottomless stomach, which is going to help for that food achievement. And then this is the one that took a long time, and I'm going to call it Optimal, and I'm going to explain why in a moment. So one of the achievement that's really hard to get, that I'm going to be concentrating on for the first 100 cycle, is eating meat, and you do that with critters. I'm going to have to spend an episode explaining that, but this dupe is going to start with the critter wrenching skill, which means it's going to be much faster to get to that. But it has the defect of a loud sleeper, but there's a solution for that. 1, not sleep on the same schedule, or 2, not sleep close to other people. So here we're going to say xHedra gaming, and we're going to embark on an adventure, and we're going to pause. This is going to be a very organized start. Okay, so For those who have skipped because they didn't care about the selection of the dupes or didn't care about the selection of the world or any of those explanations, this is basically where you're starting, and this is what I do every time I play this game. I've perfected my start. And we're going to hit begin and space to pause. And then we're going to zoom out and start looking at our world. Now, in this world, every dupe needs oxygen. Like you can see here, see, they have health, they have stress, they have morale, they've got a bladder, so that's when they have to go to the bathroom, they need to breathe, they have stamina, they have calories, so they need to eat, they have to make sure that they're not in a too cold or too hot environment, they've got the core, and they've got radiation. The only one that matters in the beginning is oxygen, and food, and sleeping, and bathroom. Okay, those are the important things. Now, when you look at all of these are all like the different types of material. Dirt, sand, sandstone, algae, copper. This special one right here is oxalite. That emits oxygen. There's usually a big bunch of oxalite in the beginning sector so that you have a way of being able to start. Okay, so usually I start planning out immediately based on where my water is. Okay, so if I look here, there's none of the button at the bottom that works because we have 0 material. So the first thing I do usually is issue a dig command in the direction that I want to go. In this case, since the water is here, well, there's some here, but this one's way deeper. This one's easier to reach. I'm going to go in that direction. I reactivate the game and I leave it on low. Okay. And now we're going to need to access the water, build a toilet, and build some room to sleep. Okay. There's something very special about the printing pod that you can use in the beginning. So now that we have all of this digging done, let's pause. And now we can start planning things. There's going to be at the top here some things like no oxygen generation, no outhouse, then tutorial basic control. There's a lot of good explanation here. Colony management, duplicate movement. I'm going to be dismissing those as they come, but you have all of that information. You also have this to browse everything in the game. So yeah, there's a lot of information, and online there's even more. So we need to get to this water. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep the right side as my long side and the left side as my small side. And the reason I say that, if I issue a dig command here, look, these are red. These I cannot dig them because it takes someone with the skill harder digging. So I'll explain that a bit later. But this is going to be my small side in the beginning, and this is the side where I can go hundreds of tiles long. Okay, so I'm going to split on that side, and I like to keep 3 on each side of my pod. So if I want to keep 3, it means, let's take that, and I'm going to build somewhere I'm not going to build just to show you. 1, 2, 3. So this is where my door is going to be. Now my center corridor, I keep 4 in the base. So my center corridor is going to be so 1, 2, 3. This is the door, and I need 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so it's going to be 1 space for air, 2 space for air. This is where my ladder is going to be, and this is where my pole is going to be, but that's going to be later. Let's remove all of this, and let's have them continue, because now they have to start like building these. Digging for resource. Let's dismiss that message and let's continue. So now they're just continually trying to do all of this thing. But as you could see, I can't build door yet because I don't have any metal ore. I'm going to need this copper ore right here. See, that's 828 kilogram, okay? When it's going to dig that tile. Hello, please dig the tile. When it's going to dig the tile, 828 kilogram, the tile is going to drop on the ground, and we're going to see the loss of mass. If I click on this, it's now 414 because you lose half the mass of anything you dig out. Kind of annoying, and I don't know why they've made it that way, but it is what it is. So if you look here and you're like, oh, 349 kilogram of copper, well, not really. It's 170 something. Okay. So let's continue. what I like doing is that this is going to be my main shaft. So in here, I'm going to have like nothing really permanent, because that's going to be my way in and out of my base long term. I like putting my toilet lower and my food lower because I'm going to need the carbon dioxide, and I like putting my bedroom higher. Okay, so now that we've done this, we're just going to let them continue, and we're going to put the bathroom. Let me just check where's going to be the door again. We said 1, 2, 3, which means door is here. So let's just do like that for now. And I keep all of my corridor, my level 4 high, because it's to me it's the best. You can make them 3. I'm gonna have some at 3 sometimes, but 4 high is the ultimate. So this here is a floor, and I'm going to indicate that by putting a ladder here. So usually what I like doing is I'll put ladder every 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4 ladder, 1, 2, 3, 4 ladder, and I'll just go like that. So this is going to be my next floor, and I'm going to start digging like this, because we need to open up a place to put our bedrooms. And here, this is going to be the bathroom. So let's just open that up, and here we need to go toward making our access to water. By the way, I'm digging out those like broken looking parcel because they contain something. I'm going to try their one here easier. No. So here, they're going to go breathe. But right here, I'm going to wait for them to dig one of those. Come on, guys. Dig one of those, so that you can see something drop. So here, there's only sandstone. And once this is dug up, now you have sandstone, but behind it, you have a muckroot. So these usually contain food or seeds. Muckroot is food, and well, seeds could be a bluffbriar seed or a mealwood seed or stuff like that. I'll explain that later. So right here, I'm trying to dig all of these out to see how much food I'm going to get, because in the beginning, we're going to need food. So let's lower the priority on that for now, because we just want things to progress. Perfect. So digger's almost done here. So we're going to need a door right here. And if I go to furniture, I'm going to need 3 cots to begin with. Okay. These are going to be the 3 cots that we're going to put for our... So I dug too far. This is a waste of time. I'm going to just stop that. So this is where they're going to sleep for the first night. And as you can see, my cycle is still not finished. Like, I'm always trying to complete bathroom, bedroom, and access to water in the first day. Now I'm going to put a door right here. And I don't need this guideline anymore. Now I know where my doors are. So this is going to be a door. We're going to dig right here and up to here. So this is what's important for now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say just prioritize that, please. And then once that's prioritized, I'll have them prioritize the other side. Ideally, I would want digger to be digging and not building, because digger is the way faster digger. Like, digger goes through like material like crazy. Perfect. So this is going to be my bathroom. And what I'm going to rush is, if I go to medicine, I'm going to put a wash basin right here. And once it's done with this other pocket right here, I'm going to put an outhouse right here. Okay. So I don't let that slow speed the whole game. It's really just in the beginning. Unfortunately, now they have problem breathing because the oxygen is not expanding. You know what? Let me just do this, because every time they stop to breathe is a time that I'm losing a lot of time. So let's just open that up. It should help. See, you can already see the oxygen flowing down. And maybe it's not time for that, but there's a lot of overlay. Let me just show you quickly. There's an overlay here for oxygen, and see, this beautiful blue is oxygen. This red is all carbon dioxide. So let's exit out of this, fetching water. Let's continue. So this wash basin right here, it requires water, and there's arrows. So basically, when a duplicate passed by this wash basin, they will wash their hand and remove germs from their hand. So we want them to not wash their hand when they're going into the bathroom. We want them to go to the bathroom and on their way out, wash their hands. So now we're going to change the direction, which I've already done, and we're going to put a outhouse right here. So let's have that continue. And as you can see, when there's food that appear, they're randomly bringing it to the ration box. I put that very low priority, thinking that they would not be now, because right now I want them to build stuff and do more important things. Also, you see these doors? They stop creatures from going through, but they also add a small walking delay when people need to cross them because they need to open the door. So there's nothing sensitive here. So we're going to set the door to open, which means someone's going to come along and use the little remote control and set the door to open, which means the door will always stay open. Oh God, I almost messed up something. So early, I need to put a pitcher pump right here to start getting some water, because there's no water in the wash basin right now. What I'm going to do is extend this down and extend this up, because you never want your duplicate to be not working. Okay, so let's continue that. And already we're going to go to a second wash basin, but like now we have the basic. We're going to have water in a second. And once we have water, this is going to be it. So for the outhouse, okay, I'm going to put that on priority 9 because it's not infinite. There's 15 visit, and you want the dupes to always be prioritizing the toilets, okay? So I'm going to put that to 9, and I'm going to say disable disinfect because they're going to waste so much time trying to disinfect the toilet all the time, and we'll address that later. So we're almost at the end of the day, and we've got our rooms. Let me pause for a moment. Let's talk about room overlay and why this was important. Let's also set that door to open. Right here, there's something called room overlays. And with the colors, you can see 2 rooms. You can see a latrine and you can see a barrack. Now, these need to be in closed space and they have a maximum size. So if I go to barrack, it tells you 1 or more bed, there are 3. No industrial machine, there's none. Minimum size 12, it's 12. It's at least 12. It's right now it's 18 big, and it needs to be not bigger than 64 tiles. Okay. For the latrine, same thing. Need a toilet. Toilet needs a wash station. Wash station needs to not have any industrial machine, and same thing up to 64. Okay. But here's what's interesting. At the bottom of the list, there's something called effect morale +1. And here, effect morale +1. So it means that whenever my duplicate use these rooms, they get more morale. So if I take Digger right now, okay, she's starting to be hungry. And the stress here is they have high morale right now in A New Hope because we're starting a game, but that's going to disappear at some point. Okay, so you want to give them the highest morale possible. You see that here in the vitals. So you see that they all have 2 moral. And if you open it, they have +1 because they're a duplicate, and +1 because of New Hope. But once they sleep in that room, they'll have another +1, and once they use the bathroom, they'll have another +1, so they'll be a +4. So this is set up for the beginning, and now we're going to encounter a problem, because if you remember, one of these dupe is a loud sleeper. So bench eater, nope. So is it optimal? And I called him optimal because he's an operator. And I called him Nimble for animal because they have a starting skill, okay, which I'm going to show you in a moment. Still need to have other things to prioritize right now. So this is a loud sleeper. So we want optimal to not be sleeping at the same time as other people. So what I usually do is I create 8 schedules. So I'm going to go 1, that's the first schedule, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then I use work and I fill all the gaps everywhere. And then you're going to have warning that the schedules are not good, but it really doesn't matter for now. So let's just do this, this, and this. Then I create a 9th one right here, which is all work and is going to stay all work. And I'm going to get to that one later. Then I stagger the bedtime. I go bedtime like this, bedtime like this, bedtime like this, and I just go down. And the reason 8 is a good number, it's because it's going, there's 8 different 3-step, 3 sleeping partial of cycle. See, it fits perfectly, and the last one will always be just work, okay? So then it's always 2 downtime before. The 2 downtime before are so that your dupe can have time to go eat or go to the bathroom or like get back to their sleeping spot, because sometimes they can be really far away. And bad time is basically when they will either start to work again because they have nothing to do, or when they're going to go and shower if we had showers, and also go to the bathroom. Although, to be honest, they go to the bathroom when they need to, regardless of the schedule or not, which makes sense to me. Okay, so these schedules are all set. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to just wait a little bit, and I'm going to take up Nimble because I don't want him to sleep at the same time as the other. I'm going to go and say the next sleep period after that, the closest one, is that one right here. So I'm going to take up Nimble and I'm going to put him in that one. So now there's only 2 people that are going to be sleeping and not the guy that like snores loudly. So then we can just continue the day. And basically we've achieved everything that I needed to get done on day 1. We're going to also put a second wash basin here. So the reason I put 1 and 1 is you never know the speed of your dupe, and we might not have had time to build 4. And now if they go to the bathroom, they'll be able to wash their hand. Like, I wanted to make sure that we would not be in a weird situation. So they're going to put the second wash basin in, and we basically have everything in place now except research, which is going to be the next emergency. Okay, and you see, we've got the end of the cycle. So now we've got Optimal still working because they're on still a working schedule, and the other 2 are taking a break. So Brainiac went to the bathroom, which is going to be a good way of showing you the germ overlay. So she's in the bathroom, and Digger would have waited if we only had 1, but they don't wait forever. And if they don't go to the bathroom, they'll pee on the floor. But she would have waited a little bit. So now let's wait. She's going to take the other bathroom. And once Brainiac's done, we're going to pause right here and see, ooh, Brainiac is disgusting now. She's full of germs. She's got 68,000 food poisoning germs. Like doo-doo germs. Okay? So they're going to come right here to the wash basin. And they're going to wash their hand. And see, I don't remember what's the quantity that's being removed. But the wash basins remove, like, see now she has not a single germ left. Now it's going to be the turn of Digger, who's also going to be able to wash their hand. And that's why you want 2, because if the station is not available, instead of being a good little dupe and waiting to wash their hand, they're just going to pass by and say, okay, can't wash my hands, let's go work. And they're going to dirty your whole base. Germs are not that important, but I try to play in the spirit of the germs. If you play on super max hard difficulty, then it's a problem. Now you see the dupes are just sitting anywhere to eat. When they eat, their calorie goes back up. And as you can see here, the total change per cycle, a duplicant will lose 1,000 calorie per cycle. And because this one's bottomless stomach, they're going to lose 500 extra. So just that one duplicant that we're looking at needs to eat 1,500 calories per day. So these 2 are done eating, and they had a bad meal, so they're not super happy about that, and they're going to go to bed. And they're going to be sleeping in their beautiful new room, which means that if we go to vitals, see, haha, duplicant +1, new hope +1, latrine +1, 2 shift break +1, barracks +1, but gristly meal -1. So now they're sleeping, and Optimal is eating because now Optimal is in its break period, which is okay. And those are going to wake up and see, it's like night cycle. Like, this is the perfect time. So some of the dupes, they have like a bonus where they have more morale when working during night, or more morale when working during day, or working alone, or stuff like that. And by the way, This is one of our hatch. This is one of the critter we're going to use to make food. So now Optimal's going to go to the bathroom. And then she's going, she or he, I don't know if that's a he or she. The dupe, is going to go to sleep. Okay? So now that is all explained, let's just go and close the germ and disease, and let's go and look at skills. This is the skill tree. This is where you're going to be skilling your dupes. Right now, I don't have any skill because if you look at Brainiac, they're at 550 of 3038. Once they reach that 3038, they'll have a point to put in something and we'll be able to choose. And all of these things cost morale. Okay. If you look here, my dupe has 3 morale right now, which that's base morale. No, that's 3 because the core was ugly. So see, it was important to get the latrine and the barrack because we're getting -2 right off the bat. So if I gave them advanced research, it would cost 1 morale, okay? And this would cost 2 morale, and this would cost 3 morale. It looks like 6 because it's 1 plus 2 plus 3, okay? But they also, because they have heart, they get a bonus because you skill them in what they want. So this one's going to cost 0, this one's going to cost 1, and this one's going to cost 2, okay? As for digger, they only like digging. So sometimes it's good to have multiple. We'll see that in the future. For optimal, they started with critter wrenching 1. I can put the little critter wrenching hat. I don't know if it's a bug or it's something that I don't understand, but because critter wrenching is here and you need farming, they can't do wrangling task until we've got improved farming. So even though optimal would want to be in operation, this is the magic dupe to start as fast as possible. Oh god, sorry about that. I'm just going, like this is a new game, so I didn't have my script running. I ran my script now. Okay, so right here, I'm going to, the moment that they skill up, I'm going to take improved farming 1 just so that they can get into critter wrenching. We need to start wrenching critters like yesterday, and I'm going to put the little hat on. So at some point, Optimal's going to come over here. Yeah, right now. So he's going to go, no, see, he needs to go to sleep. So after sleeping, he's going to come over here under the printing pod, and he's going to celebrate by putting up his new hat. Now, right here, we need to start researching, okay? So although I have these commands here and here, let's start setting up the research. For the research, we need a station, research station right here, and we're going to need power. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to expand the floor here. No, I'm going to expand the floor up to here. And then I'm going to pass a wire. I like passing wires in the floor. I'll explain why after. Like it's just, to me, it's a good practice. I'm not there. And I'm going to also have it go up like this because I don't want to dig that plant. And I don't want to dig that plant for now. And we're going to come right here and put a power generator. And right here and put a battery. Okay. So now they're going to be building this. And I'm just going to say, please prioritize this. And now there's another change we're going to make for the ration box. We're going to put it at 8. The reason I put the ration box high is that if they find a piece of food on the floor, they're going to prioritize bringing it here. Because these hatch, can I find, there's one right here. When they're unburrowed, they're going to eat what's on the floor. And I don't want them to eat my food. Ever, ever, ever. And look, this is everything that they eat. So if you look in that list, there's muckroot, meal lice, mush bar, nutrient bar. So they could be eating my food. Not when it's in the box. So that's why you want to rush that. So now I'm going to let them continue doing that. And Optimal did not... Oh, okay. Hello, why are you not getting your little hat? Maybe they can't put it on? Hello, skill. Optimal. Put your little hat. This is confusing to me. Anyway, so now we're just going to wait for this to finish up. And while we're waiting, we're not going to be waiting because now I'm going to show you the priorities. This is great and evil at the same time. This is basically the priorities. And the way they work, they go from left to right unless you do this. So if I say digging is priority, it means that of all of this list, it's going to say, oh, this is high priority, do this first. Then do any attacking or life support or toggling in that order, okay? So right now, we have a great researcher. So what I like doing is I disallow research, I disallow decorating, I disallow cooking, I disallow rocketry, I disallow doctoring, and I heighten the priority on life support and toggling for everyone in the beginning. Not going to be everyone after, but in the beginning. And then I'm going to say my researcher is super high priority on research. And then my digger is going to be high priority on digging and building. And my operator is going to be high priority on operating. Okay? So for the moment, that's how it's going to be. So now that we're half power and we're charging the battery, and see, Optimal went to operate the machine to charge, we now have the ability to research. So let's start researching immediately. Now, there's multiple things to research, but what I like to do first is right here. I'm going to say, I'm going to do the employment and the advanced research because this is going to unlock the water cooler and this is going to unlock the supercomputer, which is going to make our research so much faster. So we're just going to click that and it's going to take 15 action of research here and 20. So now that this is started, I think Brainiac's going to finish their one task and we're going to bring this to a 7 because we want to make sure that she will prioritize this. So she grabbed dirt that she's going to put in the research station because the research station requires dirt. And she's just going to start researching. And then you can see there's this little yellow bar here where the research is just going up. When we go to the research tree, it stops any action and pauses the game. But here you see there's 1 of 15. So now Brainiac is pretty much going to be eat, sleep, bathroom, research. Rinse and repeat. The only time she's not going to be doing research is when I put higher priority on something else or when when there's no power. Okay? Right now, I haven't addressed the oxygen issue because we still have oxygen coming from here, from here, from here to here. So there's no need to waste power on oxygen right now. And if I go to the oxygen overlay, I can see that we have high oxygen here. The little bits of carbon dioxide are the dupes exhaling, but that carbon dioxide is going to go down and go to my dioxide pit. This is why you want to go down and up as fast as possible. It's also to expose your map as fast as possible. Okay. The other thing that I'm going to do now, if I come back here in the priorities, I'm going to look at Optimal has 2 husbandry, Brainiac has science only, and Digger has... Okay, so Digger must not be digging plants. What I'm going to do is, since this is kind of my gopher, I'm going to put Optimal into farming and into wrenching super high. It's going to change later, but right now, like these, I want Optimal to always be wrenching or operating if there's a need for operation and farming for food after. So right now, we've got some wild plants. We've got the mealwood right here, which produces meal lice, which is food. And it's going to take 12 cycles to grow, but this is free food that I do not have to maintain. So if I come over here, these are all the things you can do. Dig, cancel, construct, priority, disinfect, attack. Wrangle is capturing critters. Empty pipes, we rarely use this. The disconnect tool, which is amazing. It was a mod that I used to use, and Klei just added it because everyone wanted it. Then there's harvest, there's mop, and there's sweep. Okay, so we're going to take harvest. We're going to put a priority of 8, and we're going to go and say, like this. Basically, we're putting a higher priority on every plant around and telling our dupe to harvest it. To be honest, not everything needs to be harvested, but as a general rule to start now, I like doing that. See, Optimal went and uprooted this muck root, which is going to come into a ration box. And right now we have 19,956 calorie. So right now we're not in a dangerous place. Research completed. The first water cooler and crafting station was completed. And if we come here, we're now searching the next part. In preparation for the next part, I'm going to start closing these rooms. And I'm going to want to open up my... this pit, it needs to open up so that oxygen will travel easier up and down. I'm not going to dig those two because I want to dig the sand first. The sand falls. So, see, he's going to do that sand. All of the sands are going to fall like this. Then take the next one. So, I don't want the sand to fall at the bottom here. So, I'm just going to dig the sand first. And then I'm just going to add those. Okay. So, now I'm going to be putting some doors here. So, let's just... I did the priority on these doors. And because I want to show you the next room that we're going to be working on. Here, see, I have some millwood ready. So I really also want to open up this room because if I can go in this room ASAP, I'm going to be able to get some free meal lice. And then there's the bristle blossom. And so the bristle blossom, they need light to grow. So what I'm also going to do is I'm going to put a pneumatic door right here and a tile right there. So I'm going to make it so that when my dupe goes in, there's a door. And the door... Oh. Sorry. I just need to put things in the right place. So the door... See, this one's open, which means that the critter could go through the door. But if I leave the door closed, the critter will never leave. And I don't want this critter to leave because I don't want it to come down and come into my bedroom and light up everyone. Because when people are lit up, they can't sleep because of the... light. Because if I come over here to another overlay, which is called the light overlay, you can see that this produces light. This also produces light. That's going to be important. I'm going to explain it. I'm getting to that. So there's light everywhere. So this light, when it goes on the that plant right here, see, it's growing now because there's light. So the bonus of keeping the shine bug in here is that it's also going to light up this 1, 2, 3 bristle blossom. Okay, so I want to keep it in there, and ideally if I find any shine nymph egg, I'm probably going to all throw them in there too. Let's also put a door here for this one and do this. Okay, so now see, there's a shine nymph egg right here. So when I get here, I would take the shine nymph egg and bring it here so that it would hatch here. These hatch very fast, so it's probably going to be hatched by the time I get to this point. So now we're really well started. We're in cycle 2, and we haven't talked about the achievement. So that's the last thing I want to do. I want to talk about the achievement, and that's going to be my episode. I called it episode 0, but it really should have been episode 1. Okay, so I'm sorry I called it episode 0. I'm going to call it episode 1, and let's finish with explaining the achievement because we already got our first achievement. So if we click on it, we go and it unlocks the achievement. And the achievement we have is have at least 1 toilet in the colony and a bed for every duplicate. And if I remember correctly, there are 45 achievements. What I'm going to try and do is in the title of the episode, put the number of achievements that we have on 45 until we've got them all. So this episode would say 1 of 45 in the title. Okay. We need to talk about the 3 most important achievement for the start of the run. Carnivore, locavore, and super sustainable. Let's start with super sustainable. So super sustainable says that we need to generate 240,000 kilojoule of power without using coal, natural gas, petrol, or wood generator. This is going to be very stifling in the beginning. Power is going to be a big problem. Okay, so the little mouse wheel that we were running in, that doesn't count. Hydrogen power, that doesn't count. Solar power, that doesn't count. So those are the only 3 type of power. Well, it's not true. There's a fourth one, which is geothermal power, but that's going to take a long time to unlock. So we're going to be very stifled on power, and I'm going to show you how to just find ways around that in the beginning. Because if we could use coal, coal produces tons of power and would save everything. So in the beginning, we're going to be counting on duplicants a lot. Now, the food situation. This, in my opinion, is the hardest achievement to achieve. It means that your duplicants must have eaten 400,000 kilocalorie of critter meat before the 100th cycle. We have a countdown, and we already lost 1 day, and we've eaten 0 kcal of the 400,000. On top of that, we also want to do locavore, which says that we need to consume 400,000 kilocalorie of food without planting any seed in planter box, farm tile, or hydroponic farm. So we're going to have to be super careful to not plant anything until we finish this. But we're already at 6,588. Right now we have 3 dupes, one that eats 1,000, another one that eats 1,000, and one that eats 1,500. So they basically eat 3,000 per day. We've got 2 days done. We've eaten 6,000. It all jives. Sometimes they eat a bit more and they store up calories for the next day. But that's basically how we're going to be doing this. So at 3 dupes, after 100 cycle at 3,000, we would have eaten 300,000. So we cannot stay at 3 dupes, and you do not want to stay at 3 dupes anyway. What I'm going to want to do is take in dupes until I get up to 10. Then at 10, I'm going to stabilize a little bit and probably go up to 12 or 14. And I'm going to be getting some more of those with the requires more, the trait that needs them, that makes them need to have more food. Now, skip this if you don't want to, but this is the carnivore achievement explanation. I'm going to explain it in 2 places. The way this works is that you have these little hatches right here, okay? And these little hatches, they live for 100 cycles, sorry. And now it's wild. And if I was grooming the creature using a rancher, the wildness would go down. Once the wildness go down, there's a new stats that's going to be creating eggs. And you can see that it has a 96% of getting an hatchling egg, 2% chance of stone, 2% chance of sage. But the fastness at which they produce eggs goes high when they have a better situation, better located, and are groomed and managed and everything. So we want to start wrenching the creature as fast as possible because now we have only 1, okay? And if I come in the dictionary here and I search for hatch, like so, it's going to tell you that once you kill it or it dies, it's going to give us 3,200 kilocalorie of meat. So each critter that we killed is going to give us 3,200 calorie. Okay? So to get, if we wanted to get 400k, we would need to kill 10 is 32. 100 is 320. So we would need to kill 140 something critters, which means a lot of eggs, which means a lot of critters. And we're going to need some wrenches. We're going to set that up in the next episode, and we're going to go into more detail, but let me finish the story though. You look at meat, you can make barbecue. And what this does is that it takes 3,200 kilocalorie of meat and becomes 4,000 kilocalorie of barbecue. That is super important. You do not want your duplicant to eat meat ever. You always want to cook it to get this extra 800. Because to get to 400 kcal, now you only need to kill 100 critter. So that's where we're going with this. We're going to start wrenching as soon as possible. And whenever we kill a hatch, we're going to make sure that our dupes cannot eat the meat. And we're going to make sure that they just like take the meat and, wow, that's hard. Take the meat and transform it into barbecue, okay? So we're going to go into a lot more detail on the episode for that, but that's why food's going to be a problem in the beginning. So we're going to end the episode right here, and in the next episode, we're going to set up our kitchen, a basic battlefield kitchen type of thing, and our eating area, and we're probably going to start setting up our first wrenches, and I'm going to explain how the wrenches work. And oh, I did something dumb. I didn't start the next bit of research because I'm making a video and I'm talking. This is something I never forget. So usually, oh, it's not finished. Okay, whew. I remember that there was a research completed, but there's no warning, so the research is not really completed. By the way, see here, it says, hey, you don't have any food. Hey, you don't have any oxygen. We're still good. We're going to address that in the next episode. So guys, I hope you like this new series. I hope that you like that I'm making sure that you have 1 or 2 episodes of this every week while I'm on my big road trip, because I don't want to stop producing content. And hopefully you'll like this. And if it's not your thing, well, sorry, there's only 1 or 2 Minecraft episodes per week. It's the best I can do. I don't like to have my Minecraft episode go too far in the future because I like reacting to the comment. For this game, I don't feel the need to react to the comment right now because it's something new that I'm trying. Guys, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next episode. Bye now.